All right, let's take our class a step further. We've got the definition for the class, we've got the class keyword, we got the name of the class, course, and we've defined properties within there called name and students, which are contained within the init function or the initialize function for this class. And we've tested it out. It works. We've been able to create multiple instances of our new class called course. Now, I want to give users of this class additional functionality. And the way that we do that is by defining additional functions. For example, I want to be able to define some functionality that allows anybody that consumes this class, utilizes the class, give them the functionality to add students to the student's property. Okay? So back into my class file, I am going to define a new function. And I'm going to call this add students. Now with add students, it's going to have two arguments in there. Self is going to be in there. That way we can refer to itself, its instance, comma, and I want to know the student name. I'll just call it student. We'll close that. There we go. All right. Now what's actually going to happen here? I want to be able to, when somebody calls this function within the course, I want them to be able to add students to this property here, which is currently an empty list. So here inside of the add students function, I'm going to say self.students, essentially referring to this property right here. And I'm going to use the append method, which is a part of the list type. So now what do I want to append to it? Well, I want to append the student. And student is the value that's going to get passed in when somebody utilizes this function. So somebody says add students, they pass in the name. We then take that name and append it, there's a name right there, and append it to the students property, which is up here. All right, let's try this out. I'm going to save it. I'm going to F5. So I'm going to create a new instance. C1 equals course. We'll call it Python. There it is. So now I'll do C1 dot. Now give it a moment. There's add students. So let's get add students. I'm going to give it a, get that out of there. I'm going to give it a name. So we'll say Joe is there. And let's actually do one more. We'll do add underscore students. And we'll say Patrick. We'll close that. All right. Now if I say C1.students, there's Joe and Patrick. We've now given them the functionality by implementing it within the class to add students to the list. And I can use other functionality. We can say len C1.students. There's two of them in there. If I create another instance of course, we'll say C2 equals course. We'll call this one HTML. There we go. Now if I do C2.students, what am I going to get? Remember, Joe and Patrick are part of the C1 instance. If I do C2 students, it's an empty list. I haven't put anything in there yet. All right. So we've created the class, we've got a little bit of functionality there, the initialize function, and now our own custom one utilizing a function within our class called add students, which does some appending to a list. So try this out, nail that one down, get some more functionality in there. If you think of something else, try that out as well. You know, experiment here. You know how to create functions, now we're just implementing them into the class and then consuming them out inside of the shell, creating new instances of it, and then adding to its functionality. So try this out, then we'll jump into our next topic.